Hey, good morning, everybody. It's the 2nd of May. Yes, I am in Ireland. I'm sitting in a restaurant hoping that nobody comes in so I can give you a quick update on what's been happening with me. Got my notes here, so I'm trying to remember. Two parts. First of all, what was going on the last couple of days, which was just craziness of it all. Catch up, organization, all that, and maybe give you some tips on what not to do, because I'm the perfect example of what not to do especially when it comes to packing. Very first thing is forget about trying on clothes and getting the clothes. Concentrate on everything else. Concentrate on making sure you've got your itinerary, the places you're going, making sure you got all the papers you need, your medical cards. I almost forgot to book the bus trip, get a bus ticket. So a lot of those kinds of things. Second of all, reduce. Do not bring the big suitcase. I would suggest throwing a whole bunch of books in maybe 50 pounds worth in the suitcase, walk it around the block, and that'll teach you. Do not bring the big suitcase. Way too much stuff. Third, which I did a pretty good job of, is you don't really need a lot for carry-on. Don't need to be entertained. They've got the movies there. I always think, I'm going to be reading, I'm going to be working on my laptop. I'm not, Don't want to be bothered with a bunch of stuff with you and your seat and everything. Just concentrate on going to sleep if you can. So how was the flight? Well, the flight was good because I got an upgrade, which was really surprising. I was able to use my miles and get an upgrade. It was rough flying. It was very rainy and rough out there, but I managed and it was fine. What else? Cool thing is, now when I arrived there, I finally, after all these trips, I feel like I really know where I'm going. Used to be, I'd wander around the airport, I'd go down on one side of the street, figure out, no, I really should be across the street, I'd have to go upstairs, go up in the elevator, and get across again. So I've got that all figured out. And then I get on the Route 22 bus, and I go to Balladrine, and I get picked up by relatives. So that works out really well. So the Cassidys, which picked me up, were very kind to pick me up, and their grandson Finn was there. He's a great little guy. And so what else? And thank God, Tommy got the suitcase out for me, because I wouldn't have been able to carry the thing. I don't even know how I'm going to take it home. All I can say is, if you are height challenged and interested in a new wardrobe, come see me right before I leave, because I may be getting rid of everything. And I got to Cassidy's. We caught up on things like, Peyton Place, who's doing what, and then I headed off to the Castleport Hotel in Westport, and that's where I'll be till Friday. So if you're anywhere near Westport and you want to come see me, just, drop me a line, okay? So what next? Part 2, which is the good stuff. It's the interactions I have with people and what life is going to be like here. So the very first thing that gives you a taste of it is a movie I watched on the airplane. I'd highly recommend it. I think it was called Living. It's about a guy who is told he has 6 months to live. So I'm not going to tell you anything else because you need to watch it, but it was a good beginning point, because it really made me think about what it is that I want, and what I'm hoping to achieve, and what life's all about, right? Then the next thing that happened was the bus stop. I always find I have great interactions with the bus stop, great talks. So this time it was 2 ladies from India who were working in Dublin as nurses, and they approached me. They were nervous because they wanted to find out about what bus I was taking, and they felt reassured when they realized I was on the same bus. They were going to visit someone in Longford. I think it kind of gives you an idea of how there's 2 parts of us. We rely on others, and then we rely on self. I mean, we look at others for confidence, and sorry about the noise, there's people wandering around. But they were looking for someone to validate their, their concerns, their worry. I guess perfection is when we get to the point where we don't need to rely on others to find out who we are or to reassure us. Then, it's nirvana, I guess, where you know everything. Don't know if we ever reached that point. Then the second part was there was a woman who was non-native English speaking, and despite that, she was, unlike the ladies, she wanted to also know where I was going, but she had this air of confidence, which, I don't know, it was just totally different. It was really neat to see that she just was sure of herself, and she was fine traveling by herself. She didn't know for sure where she was going. Oh, they just turned out the lights, so hopefully you can still see me. And now they're back on, so I'm sorry about that. Then the next part was getting, the bus ride itself. Bus ride, I watched this YouTube video by this woman who said the 10 things that she didn't expect in Ireland to see, 10 things that surprised her in Ireland. And one of them was about the greens, the color green. And I've always said this, it's like a rainbow of greens, and it was the perfect time of the year to go. I mean, you just really felt Ireland. There's no other experience like it. I mean, so many different colors of green, and it just makes me feel really connected. There's like some geography thing that's going on with my body when I'm riding in the bus, and I'm just looking at all these greens and seeing the street signs, seeing all the places and recognizing everything. So I had that happening. And then, of course, when I got off the bus in Ballantrae, the Cassidys picked me up, and the hugs and the welcome homes and all that, and went back to their house. And that's when the do not bring the big suitcase really hit, because I had left a box of stuff with them. I didn't need all the clothes. I had left them a box of stuff already, so I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff. So I just hung out with him and them, and we caught up on all the things that were going on in their neck of the woods. I mean, talked about the mystery lady who lives near, I won't say where, but she lives nearby, and was never communicative with them, never really knew what was going on in her life, and now she's moved on. And they asked her, well, where she was going, and her response was, oh, to the town. Well, what town? So still the mystery woman. And then about the people that were maybe not doing so well, how they're doing, and things about like what we might do, who's coming soon, and I might get to see. So those kinds of things. And then I didn't tell you about when I arrived here, when I got to Westport. It was just basically a bunch of naps because I kept falling asleep. Had a really nice dinner, but they forgot about us. And basically, I think we closed the restaurant down because we got the appetizers, but we never got dinner. And finally, somebody came over and said, oh, and they admitted it, which I was really surprised. And he offered us drinks, which was really nice. And finally got it. So it worked out in the end. And then there was a show, I'm on this Paul Claffey, I was trying to think of his name, Paul Claffey tour, and they have entertainment every night, but I didn't last very long. I wound up going back to bed. So what's ahead for me? Well, one of the things that I've learned in the last the last month or so, or maybe I've known it all along, is we are defined by our habits. So if I want a certain life, if I really want a joy-filled life, I need to create habits that lead me towards that. So I'm terrified, I've come all the way to Ireland. I'm going to stay here for almost 4 months, and I want to make sure that I do something, that it's not just I let the days and the weeks and the months go by. So I'm really going to try and make sure that I do a little bit of something every day, like every day do a little bit of ancestry. I'm hoping to get some writing done, and so I really want to concentrate on that. I did some this morning. Right now I'm concentrating on the Frains and trying to connect Jackie Kelly, who's a Frain relative that I found this last year, and I'm going to be staying with her after Westport. Her Frains are from Barnacoonka, and trying to figure out how we're all connected. I may be boring you, but that's what I'm going to be doing. And so that's about it. Today we're going on a tour, and places that I've already been, but going anyway. Going to the Foxford Woolen Mills, and I stayed in Foxford last year at one point, so that'll be nice. I'll get to walk around there again. And we're going to Knock, and then we're coming back here for music and dancing again. So that's it for today, and I wrote all this down this morning. I had a lot more to tell you, but this is what I remembered, so bear with me, and love to you all.